All right. So, hello guys. Welcome to the For Change Makers breakfast. I think that's how we call it.
Yeah,
So,
actually, now we
anyway, this
started
is the
calling it for Changemakers Daily, but yeah,
daily,
our
eso,
like
daily.
our attendees and the people who joined us in the past, they said they just always call it Breakfast Club. So
Exactly. Yeah, but it's the For Change Makers daily. So, anyway, I was confused, but anyway, welcome everyone. And as usual, we're coming in and we're taking one specific topic. We go deep on that. So, with the idea, to not just give you like the overall strategy, but really going deep and giving you like practical advice that you can take it and you can apply it to your business like now. So perhaps Ina, you
perfect.
can introduce
Of course, of course.
to us the
Yeah,
topic of today.
and also all the topics we cover, they come from our community, and today is the same thing again. So we received a question from our community from someone who's right now building a social startup, and they struggle a little bit with forecasting their sales because they don't have any clients yet. They don't really know how to define those numbers, and they were asking us if we can share some insights from our side related to sales forecasting. And the lucky situation is that Fernando has a very has his past in sales forecasting. So he was working for General Motors in forecasting, and he just shared with me that he was even working with another company in forecasting that I didn't even know about. It was also a startup, and he also forecasted our entire sales for this year.
That
And
was a secret story, by the way.
oh, sorry. Oops. Yeah, so I know that Fernando has a lot to share when it comes to sales forecasting.
Yes, yes. So, well, thank you, Sina. So, also like complementing the backstory, I started like doing this, in General Motors. I was 2 years forecasting the entire sales of General Motors in Chile. And at that time, like we had to like forecast by month. We needed to forecast by model of the cars. We needed to forecast the version. So each model have different versions, like the basic, the middle, and the high version with full equipment. So the different versions, and then also by color, we need to forecast and to understand, like which colors will sell more of this model, of this version. So all that was super, super, super important because that was the information that then the people in logistics, they will take that information and they will use those numbers to buy and get the stock. So we were in Chile. We needed like 3 months in order to get the cars into the country. So we needed to go at least 3 months, before and forecasting, okay, this is going to happen in 3 months from now. So anyway, that was like super, super, super fun. And then I did something similar with my own company that I had, that we had apparel, so we bring the franchise of a big company to Chile, and we open a couple of stores. So we needed also like to forecast the sales of that, and we were selling, apparel, we were selling clothes, stuff like that. So we needed to, as well, to forecast the different designs, the different sizes. So like really a lot of details. And well, as soon as just said before, I also have the experience doing that, in another company. And well, of course, today is something that I do for change makers as well. So I have the experience, working with like big company, like super highly complicated forecasters, like General Motors, similar than when you're in a startup. So what happened to me, and also like working with a small company. And there are like certain principles that you need to be aware and that you need to have in place when you're forecasting the sales. So well, of course, the first thing you need to sit down and say, okay, what's the time that I will forecast, so it's going to be 6 months, 12 months, like. So the first thing, to understand what's the period that you will be forecasting. Now, in terms of the mindset perspective, just be aware that whatever you're doing, don't get so stuck with hundreds of millions of details, because what you're trying to do is it's kind of like impossible. So because your forecasting is predicting the future, if you would be able to really predict the future, you will probably not doing whatever you're doing. You would probably, like already won the lottery, stuff like that, like if you really knew how to predict the future. so from the mindset perspective, when I'm forecasting, I just know that whatever I'm doing, that's just not going to happen in the reality. It's just, like how it is. I remember, for example, when I was in General Motors, I was always forecasting with round numbers. So for example, I would say, okay, this month we will sell 5,000 cars, and in this model we will sell 100, and the other 150. And then I remember one person came to me. I was like, dude, but that, like, round numbers, that absolutely, like, never happened. Like, we sell 4,993 cars, never 5,000, never, round numbers. And I look at him, dude. If you know what the unrounded number, that we are going to hit, then let me know and you do the work. Like, so it doesn't matter. Like, if it really doesn't matter. I knew that would not be the round number, but whatever number I'm putting, that's not going to be the reality anyway. So what you're trying to do is just to try to be as close as possible. So a good forecast normally will be something on the lines, what, like, difference between 5 to 10% perhaps. So you were there, maybe you sold 5 to 10% more, or maybe you sold 5 to 10% less. But anyway, you're just trying to paint the picture, and to plan your actions accordingly to that picture. So it's a lot of setting the intention as well. So that's from the mindset perspective. So then the next thing that you want to do is, like, you want to look. So how I do it, at least, I place, in a column, all the different products and services that I'm going to be offering, that are part of my product line, for that period of time. So you just list them, like product A, B, C, D, like all, and ideally with the breakdown. So for example, again, like in my time, for example, working with my company, I will not only have the design of the shirt. I will have, okay, this is the design. For example, we will send 100 of this design, but 20 of those will be in small, 40 would be L, and 10 will be XL. So you have that distribution. So you want to go into that detail, especially when you have products. And so you have that, and then you have in the different columns, you have the different months that you're projecting for the future. And from there, now you have your framework. So now you can start understanding more or less, how to start playing with the numbers. Now, when you're just starting, it's more complicated, because when you have some sort of story, you can look back and have a feeling about the market, and project which months are better, which months are this and that. So when you have more data, it makes your life a little bit easier. Now, when you're just starting, from nothing, and as I'm saying, it happened to me. I was just sitting there, and I was like, okay, how much we will sell? Like, I don't know. Well, the market research there, can be tremendous help. So at that time, for example, what I did, I went out and I started talking with friends, for example, that they were working in the retail and the fashion industry. So the first thing I would ask them, I would say, okay, what's the distribution when it comes, to the sizes of the clothes? So you work in a retail company. So I will meet with a friend. I will say, okay, when you're buying and when you're putting the things, how many people buy S, how many people buy M, how many people buy L, and understand the distribution. So they gave me that information. So for example, immediately when I start doing that research, I knew that I don't remember exactly, but more or less the 25% was S, the 50% was M, another 25% was L, and a very small percentage, at least in my country, was XL. So you start getting that information. So you need to think about, okay, who else in the market might know this kind of information that I need in order to make the forecast. So that's super, super, super important. So it gives you some base, some where some pillars where you need to you get, in order to put there that information. So understanding more or less what's the size of the market, understanding what's the market share that you are aiming to get with your social startup, with your products and services, how many people you would like to serve, so that's also something really important. So as a general rule as well, I highly suggest to start with the end in mind. So what I mean by that, you start with the big picture, meaning, okay, what I want to do in my first year in business, like what's my intention? Let's say my first year in business, I want to impact, with my products and services to, let's say, 200 people. Okay, cool. And those 200 people I will generate this amount of revenue. Okay, that's the end in mind. So when what you do when the forecasting, you start like breaking down by month and by product line, and by details, how you will get to impact with your products and services to 200 people and generate that amount of revenue. So it's making, the breakdown easier. So something that I like to do, I like to start with the end of mind. Okay, this is the target that I'm aiming for, this is what I want, that's my intention. And then I will go by quarters. So I will get, okay, Q1, Q2, Q3, Q4. Okay, what are my targets, for each quarter? And then by each quarter, I do the breakdown by month. So that makes the process absolutely easier, and you know how to fix the numbers, because at the end of the day, also when you're forecasting, you're just making up stuff, that's the truth, you're making up something, so instead of like being let's say arrogant, like I know the future and I can predict this thing, like that's not the truth, you're just making up something. So if you're making up something, then just make up something that will fit your own targets, your own goals, because then you can take the actions accordingly. Something I always saying as well, if you plan to have a business, for example, that is a small business, some sort of boutique that you will make a living with, and you will be happy, and you will live a sustainable life, and you will be able, I don't know, to work 6 months and travel 6 months, and that's the sort of lifestyle business that you want, then the actions that you're taking in order to build that are absolutely different if you want to build up, the next startup unicorn, Silicon Valley, or you want to build up, the next Zebra, or the next, like super big thing, that it's all over the media and it's taking like over the world. Like the actions that you're taking are dramatically different. So when you're forecasting, you need to understand, okay, what, I just put you, very extreme examples, but on the line, those streams, where are you, what do you want? And that's, your clear target. And then you reverse engineer, and okay, to get there, how do I do it? Okay, by quarters, how can I do that? Now, also something to consider, especially when you're getting started, uh, be aware, that you are going to be building momentum along the way. So probably, your sales and your revenue and everything, will have a curve that is going to be growing over time, so probably at the beginning, the revenue and the sales and the forecast will be, the numbers will be smaller than the numbers that you will be projecting, for example, for the month number 10 or the month number 11 or something like that, especially at the beginning. That's not necessarily for somebody that is already in business and it's forecasting something. But if you're just starting out from zero, well, just be aware that you will not get from 0 to 100, in 1 month. You will get the first month 10, and the next one 20, and the next one 25, and the next one 35. So just make sure as well that you're projecting something that you believe is possible. And that's my last piece of advice. Whatever you're doing, it's super, super, super important that you believe it's possible, because the Excel sheet, and this is, like something I always say as well, the Excel sheets, you can put there anything, the Excel sheet resists absolutely anything in the world. You can just paint whatever picture there. The important thing is that you believe, like really deep inside of you, that what you're putting there, it's something that it's possible. Because if it is too small, you will not be very inspired to take action. And if it is too big that you don't even believe that it's true, you will quit even before beginning. You will see, like, this is not possible. And you're just like making up the thing, and you're you're expanding yourself, you're trying to put yourself and trying to place someone that you're not. So just be aware, that to build something that is meaningful for you, that is inspiring, that those are numbers you believe they are possible, and they're also super, super inspiring and motivating, that you say, like, I really want to get there. Because then when life happens, which life will happen, and maybe your targets are not there and you're not getting there or whatever, then you will just continue doing it. You will continue doing it because you believe that it's possible and you will get there somehow. So anyway, I think that's different pieces of advice on how to build a forecast. There's a lot of more maybe details, but for that I would really need to also like maybe have a conversation and really understand what are the things that you want to forecast in order to get into more details. But like as a general um, so general explanation, suggestion based on as well on my experience. I forecasted ice creams, I forecasted cars, I have forecasted apparel, as I told you, I have forecasted our business, so selling services and coaching. So going through like different industries in different countries and etc. These are like main principles, fundamentals that you want to be aware when building your forecast, when projecting something. So that's it. Not sure, Sina, if you maybe by listening to this, maybe you have something that catch your attention or something that you would like to add.
So yeah, just to sum it up, I think the last point you just mentioned is probably the most important one. Like really like being honest and true with yourself and picking like a number that is really motivating you and mindful to yourself, and go within yourself first before you then go out and predict the market. And so then putting this end goal first, and then what you said was also really important, especially when you start out and you don't have any experience, you just entered this market and you don't know that much about this market, like doing like the proper research. And you said that what you did, you just leveraged on your network and you talked to people who were working in the apparel industry, for example. But what people can do if they enter a market where they maybe don't really have a network, you can start building it. You can use like LinkedIn, you can use other tools, websites, or do some outreach just to get into contact with people who work in this specific market, or maybe in a similar market, but with the same target group. And also so talking to them. And then also what is really important, I think, is to also get into contact with your target market, doing some surveys, asking them questions, maybe doing some even pre-selling to see how are they responding to your products and services, so that you can already test what products they might buy more, which ones they might not buy so much. And then based on this, you already have like a little test of the market, and you can adapt your forecast or can make it even more precise.
That's a really good advice. At the end of the day, the reality always win. So going out and talking to real people, finding out their real needs and finding out what they really want, that will give you way more valuable information in order to have a sense and project your sales, than just sitting on your desk, like Googling how much should I sell about this, so really good advice, that one as well.
Yeah, that was it from my side. And if you have questions related to that, you can put them in the comments. And as Fernando said, that to go into further detail, he would also know a little bit more about like the specific businesses and the challenges you're facing. And if there's anything we can help you with, you can just reach out to us.
Absolutely. Good. Awesome. So anyway, thank you again, guys, for tuning in and for listening to us. And see you tomorrow. Yeah. Awesome. See you tomorrow.
Awesome.
Bye-bye.
Bye.